And then I want, I'm just gonna. It doesn't seem to respond to it.
We'll get your mouth.
All right. Okay. With that, I would like to call this meeting of the town board of the town of Northeast to order. It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026, 7 o'clock, Town Hall. And I would like to invite you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tilly, could you conduct a roll call?
Yes, Supervisor Kenneth,
Here.
Councilman Mayville,
Here.
Councilman Morrison,
Here.
Councilwoman Winkler,
Here.
Councilwoman Cole.
Here.
Okay, thank you. I have sent out an agenda for a meeting which has been posted. I have a couple of amendments to the agenda. I would like to add a communications committee report, and I would like to add a personnel committee report. And I'm going to take off item number 6, the quarter officer contract. We're going to bring that back next month. So with those amendments, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this point, we have public comment on agenda items only. And if there's any public comment on agenda items only, you're welcome. Not hearing any, I'm going to move on to the department and board committee reports. Bob Stevens has been excused. He wasn't able to be here tonight, but he does report that the town highway department has been functioning well during the storms, and I will have a comment about that later. Assessor. Mhm.
Sorry, I don't have anything written. Read my scribble here. So we're starting out the year already, and because of their assessment calendar being July to June, I feel like we've been in 2026 for a while. I'm already rounding third base, so it's kind of a weird feeling. But our end goal, home run, is to get to my final assessment roll, which we put out in just a few months. And so right now we're getting to the nitty gritty, busy time of year. First being the first big thing that we're working on, and we have been working on, is market analysis. Trying to figure out from all the sales that have come in over the past year where the market is trending. And I think it's any surprise that we're still positive. It's kind of a surprise that we're still positive after so many years of increases in the market, but it's certainly no surprise that it is. And so, as I mentioned before, my analysis was indicating that we're about 6% over the previous year, and that's still holding true. Tomorrow, I have my final meeting with the New York State Office of Real Property Tax Services representative, who works with me on this, and we'll go over everything and solidify that. And I'll have a final report for you next time, but that's what it's been looking like. Other than increase in assessment, that's going to be lead to increases in assessment, like I said, 6% over across the board, looking at residential and commercial and vacant properties all across the board. Also, other than those assessment increases, we're working on building data, increases from new homes, additions to homes, renovations, things of that nature. I'll admit we're a little bit behind. My data collector has not been able to get out in this weather the last month and a half between the snow and the cold. So we're a little bit behind in that, but we're praying for this heat wave to continue And so we'll be able to get that. Technically, our taxable status day is coming up on March 1st, and that's also inventory day, where I invite the public to come in and take a look at their record, make sure that we have all the data correct. Hopefully I'll have everything updated by then. Fingers crossed, maybe not. But that's our deadline every year. Also, taxable status day indicates exemption deadline day. So all exemptions for property tax purposes are due on that day. Any exemptions that are connected to income have to be renewed annually. Senior exemptions, agricultural, nonprofit, disability, and those are all due also on March 1st. We definitely do reach out, and then this year, as you know, we probably all received a little postcard in the mail. That's kind of been a little benefit the last few years to remind people, hey, exemption deadline's coming. And again, it went out this year, a couple weeks ago. And the county has, over the last few years since it was established, has taken on themselves to print them, mail them, and pay for it all. This year, they decided they didn't want to do the pay for it all part, so they are charging that back to us, but they're still doing the work. So far, it worked out quite nicely. It did do its job. We did see some new faces came in, never knew about exemptions, never knew anything, and for the first time are coming in. So we did get some people in the programs that should have been there all along. Mostly into this enhanced STAR exemption program, which actually isn't administered by my office anymore. It's administered through the Tax and Finance Department now. And this year they passed a law, made a statement, not sure, that anyone that's in the basic STAR program will automatically be moved into the enhanced STAR program once they hit 65. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but they did spend the last 10 years getting their STAR registration system in order. So hopefully 10 years was long enough for them to figure it all out, and that'll work smoothly. But I still am encouraging anyone that is turning 65 this year to give them a call and make sure. Yeah. Last thing, unrelated to that, we have had two items of litigation that came from my office, assessment cases. One was kind of lingering for about 5 years or so, and one was new last year. We did make some settlement offers, which were accepted and approved without a need for any further costs to us as far as appraisals or any trial work. So I'm very pleased with that. And we just received the paperwork back from signed and ordered by the judge. So that is finally behind us. Correct. Start fresh.
That's great. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, guys.
Question, if we're already in STAR,
Yes.
we don't do it every year, right?
STAR is not, well, it's income-based, but the state is checking incomes. Once you're
Every
registered.
year, yeah,
every year.
okay, so we don't physically do anything.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
That's kind of the point.
And does just one member of a couple have to turn 65?
Yes.
In this year?
That's correct. That's correct. Mhm.
Any other questions for Catherine?
Okay.
Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm. Okay. Tilly, you have
Yeah,
a tax collector report?
yes, I do. We're 30% collected, which is about the same as last year. We were 29% last year at this time. I'm having Saturday hours this month from 9 to 12. I'm here. It's cold, but you know.
Mhm. You have people been actually showing
Yeah,
up
we
on
had 6
Saturday?
people last Saturday and they were very glad. So that's good. And we have, we only accept cash or checks, and there's been a lot of inquiries about credit cards. I've talked to area, other towns, what they're doing. It's something we might want to look into for next year at some point. But yeah, I've
I think
gotten,
it's good that
Yeah.
you've looked into it, because we've had a number of people who asked, why can't I pay my taxes with credit card? One of the things that was startling to me was to find out what the charge is
The fees.
to the taxpayer,
for the taxpayer.
like 3.5%
Mhm.
of your taxes to the credit card.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I don't know,
So-
it better be their option if they wanted to use
If you
it.
don't have money, you don't have
Yes.
money. so.
But there is a fee using our Edmunds, which what Amin is happy with. They've been doing it since 2013. There is a fee to instigate to get on. It's like a $2,000 fee. And then there's an increase in our annual maintenance. So we'll look into that maybe later. And Yeah, and then the problem I want to mention about, if you can tell everybody about the post office postmark, is not the new law. When you drop your mail in the post office, it doesn't automatically get date stamped that day anymore. It can take days or weeks to get done. And so if you're doing your income tax, anything else, anything that's deadline, you want to go to the counter and have them hand stamp it there. Because legally, as a tax collector, I cannot waive a penalty if it comes in date stamped after the deadlines, and that'll be unfortunate. So, yeah.
That's something that I may try and put into a town supervisor email, because
Yeah.
that is very,
big.
it's pretty significant.
It's gonna affect online, mail-in voting too as well, and a lot of things, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we have building, planning, zoning and building department reports
Those were
from
sent.
you.
And the town clerk, I just want to say that I have received another complaint about excessive gun club noise from Mr. Dave Decker Friday afternoon, January 9th, and he wanted that part of the record. So,
Mhm. It's part of the record.
mhm.
Okay. Let's see what we've got. Maybe we can do, well, the highway committee, I gave a report on the sand and salt, or at least on behalf of Bob. I can just report, having talked to him earlier today, that, I asked him about how we were doing on sand and salt, given the winter that we've had. And he said he's about halfway through his budget for the year for sand and salt. The quantities of material that he has, he feels are absolutely adequate at this point. So he's comfortable with where we are in terms of what we have. The machinery at the highway garage is working well. And just one small detail to mention is that the lift, which has been an issue for a long time, is working. And they had a training on the lift, and so the highway crew have been trained on the lift, and that's great, because the lift, which enables us to get these big trucks up in the air and to work on them from underneath without having to crawl underneath them. So
is the training the only thing that was the barrier?
no, they manufacturer had to send out people to work on it.
Okay.
And to see what was, just took an ungodly amount of
Right.
time to get that done. But we did it without having to go to court, without bringing suit. So I think in that sense, that was a good thing. Let's see where we are. Okay. How about communications committee?
Sure.
Michelle?
Well, the new communications committee met for the first time earlier this month, Meg and I. And we had a brainstorming session on the initiatives we'd like to undertake. We decided to start with the short-term goal of updating the website and our Facebook page. We spent a lot of time going through each page and realized there's enough work in the short term to keep us busy. So we have some ideas for a midterm goal and longer term goals. But for now, that's what we're working on with Tilly.
Can you share some?
Some of the website updates.
Basically, it's really sort of like what we had started of what is intuitive to look for information, and maybe also streamline some categories. Maybe we'd also ideally would like a redesign at some point, but that's like a midterm, that's middle range. Whether we would use our current website designer or another one, that's to be researched. But then also there could be opportunities for them to change the template, our current person, just so that it might be a little bit more user friendly for Tilly to upload photos, to do posters, to do these things. So it's more impactful, and information is present very quickly. So that was one, and then,
We thought it would be a good idea to pin the code blue information into the top, so that never falls below other announcements. That seems important enough to keep it kind of front and center for people
so that's.
During
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 the
these months.
season.
Yeah, and that's a formatting thing too, to be able to have versus maybe not have things scrolling constantly across the top, but some very important things
Right.
that rise to, like the warming centers and stuff like that, yeah. And then long term, maybe, not long term, but longer is maybe crafting a whether it's quarterly, whatever, besides your supervisor's emails, to
Mhm.
have a newsletter to our residents that would be first digital versus physical to mail, because it's so expensive. So that's another project we're thinking of.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm just looking at the time, we're gonna start the public hearing at 7:20, so a couple minutes away. So I'm gonna, and I know the personnel committee's got maybe a longer than can fit into 1 minute and 50
Table
seconds,
until
so
after the hearing.
I would therefore like to jump to the standard workday and reporting resolution.
Do we have nothing for buildings and grounds or housing?
No,
Okay.
well, anything on housing?
Just a +1 ADU is due February 28th. That
Making note of that. I'm gonna jump down and get the standard workday and reporting resolution. This is something which gets submitted to New York State Retirement System. And it has to be presented to the town board. The board notes it and accepts it, and it then is posted for 30 days before, and at the end of 30 days, it gets, I think, becomes in effect and gets sent to the state. So with that, I would like to ask for a motion to accept the standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials.
so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're pretty much there. The next item we're going to go to, we will come back to the personnel committee.
That's fine.
The next item that we're going to go to is a continuation of the public hearing on the proposed zoning amendments. And just noting that this will be the third round of public hearing on these amendments that we will have had. We kept the public hearing open after the last one. And so we're going to simply resume that and welcome any further public comment. So with that, I'd like to ask for a motion to resume the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. With that, the public hearing is resumed, and anyone who would like to have public comment on the proposed zoning amendments, now is a good time to offer that. Can you give your name and?
Rob Cooper.
Yeah.
I have property on the boulevard, and I just wanted, on my particular property, to maybe think about, again, allowing some more uses on that property, because with my existing deed restrictions, plus with the restrictions in the new zoning code, if I ever decided to do anything up there, I'd be very limited. So, right now, Stone sells his sheds up there. Keeps it very neat, and I just wanted to see if we could get some more allowances in there. Pretty restricted up through there.
And Rob, you're talking about after your time is up on the deed restrictions,
Yeah, but my deed restrictions are for 30 years. I'm
Right.
Maybe almost 10 or something.
right?
They're-
So you got another
be there
20
for a
years of
while.
that,
Yeah,
but you're talking after that's expired to,
well, even now, when the new zoning code is really limited, there's a lot of X's, things are not allowed, no, because it's boulevard there, but there should be more allowances, because part of the village, part of the properties in the village,
Mhm.
I'm allowed to do a tremendous amount of things there. So it wouldn't look too uniform if I did everything on the left side of the property, I
Right.
couldn't do anything on the right side. So,
because there's not too much room there.
right, there's not too much room there. We'd have the sheds, sell cars, do anything we want there.
But you'd have to still stick with the restrictions that are currently on there,
Yeah, the deed
That are in the
restrictions,
deed.
like such things as restaurants, and,
right?
you know, even though the property has a clean bill of health, the gas companies want to protect themselves. They don't want to see restaurants. or-
Yeah, yeah.
Or grocery store things, or food would be, things like that.
So, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Rob, which part of your property, where's the division for
Goes right
your,
through the building,
goes right through the mobile?
yeah, right
okay,
through the building, the
Thank
left
you.
side of the building in the village.
okay. Well, thank
Same
you.
with my property. has
Same as,
22.
yeah.
Right through the building.
The lightning rod one?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm, thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, state your name.
I'm
please.
Kathy Chow. I really liked Ed Danny's comments at the last meeting where he suggested putting a paragraph, a narrative at the beginning of each section to describe the spirit of what the law is intended to provide. And I'm thinking especially about the Irondale district, that it's a very different character than the boulevard, and I'd like to see that explained.
Thank you. Hearing none. I would entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at a future date. And, you know, close it for today, but keeping it open, so we're continuing it.
Chris, when will we get a chance to discuss some of these things as a board?
Some of what,
Some of the comments that the public has made.
when the public hearing is closed.
Is it
You know,
closed?
that, because
Okay,
there could be further public comments that we would want to weigh in on.
all right.
So we would look at the comments, make a determination after the public hearing is closed?
That's my understanding, yeah, because until the public hearing is closed, you don't have all the.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna consider some of the comments from the public and change the text of the zoning law, then we would have to keep the public hearing open so that the public could see those changes before we close the public hearing and have a chance to comment on those. So if we're going to consider doing that, my suggestion would be to have a workshop meeting sometime in the near future before the next town board meeting and see if we want to make some additions or changes to the code, and then we could have it ready by the next meeting and hopefully finish the process at that meeting. Should be in March, I guess.
So I think we are very close to being able to, you know, close the hearing, but I'd like to keep it open at least for now until we have that next opportunity.
Do you have a date for the workshop?
Well, that's one of the next things we're gonna talk about.
We have to discuss that.
But anyway, I've asked for a motion to continue the public hearing at a future date.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So dates for, I did suggest a possible date, but I know we're gonna have a problem with a number of dates.
Yeah.
There are several people who are gonna be away at the time of the next town board meeting in March. Look at alternative dates for a board meeting, but before that, let's see whether we can find a date for a special meeting of the town board. Where are we here?
Best week for me.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know, it's the week of the 23rd, next week is a nightmare for me.
Okay.
I had shared, I'm totally away that week and
Which week?
that week.
Is that,
23rd?
well, next week is not the week of the 23rd. Next
No,
week
no,
is,
next week I
Is the
just,
week of the 16th and we're at the AOT meeting.
so
so-
you're,
Totally
Meg, you're
booked.
away the week of the 23rd.
Yes,
right?
and I'm actually, you had suggested the 23rd and I'm
Yeah.
actually traveling that day, so I couldn't
Mhm.
join soon.
When are you back?
Probably Saturday, but I mean, maybe I could join a Zoom, but I don't think.
Would, well,
I could do,
I mean, we've looked at certain dates for, to try and work around your schedule a little bit, Chris.
I can
Um,
make whatever we
I
decide.
could do Friday,
work as
the
long as it's
20th in
after
the
5.
morning.
Friday, the 20th?
You know, if that works.
Oh, isn't that Friday the 20th? I could do that also. Oh, no, I can't.
that would be.
That wouldn't work for
Let
me,
me
but
just see what,
I'm busy next Friday.
Or early March?
How about, yeah, March, the week of March
you
2nd
know,
or
would March 2nd be a possibility?
it's a Monday?
March 2nd would be good for me. I have a meeting in the evening, but the day is free for me.
So you could do
And then
something
the
at,
next week.
you could do something on March 2nd, let's say at 5 o'clock.
I have a meeting in Pleasant Valley. Could we do it
Hmm,
3 o'clock?
Or
Uh,
Tuesday at 5?
Let me see. I also want to make sure that Edie is available as well.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, you guys?
Edie, are you?
Tuesday the
Chris,
third.
what
Way
day
that
is
whole-
better for you?
You know, after.
I can make any day work after 5.
What's
Okay, would we
We can do
be
5 on
able to do
Tuesday.
something in the afternoon on the 2nd?
On the 2nd?
Yes,
Chris, maybe.
It
What
has to
time
be
in the
early,
afternoon?
what?
I can't do before 5.
You can't do before 5, okay.
Yeah,
5 on the 3rd?
the 3rd is fine after early morning. I have a court appearance.
There's court,
On the 3rd.
what? Not on the 3rd,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
The 3rd,
Edie?
Fine with me.
I
okay.
can't see you.
I'm free anytime after
How
11.
about 5,
I could do 5.
That's fine.
5 o'clock on the 3rd, all right. We have a date,
And that's the continuation of
that
the
is,
public.
yes.
So that would be
That's
the
the
workshop.
workshop.
Yeah,
The workshop.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
not
the
gonna be a
workshop?
public.
Yes,
Not the,
Yes,
not
it'd
the
be-
public
It was
hearing.
the continuation.
yeah,
Not the public hearing.
Okay, sorry.
It's open to the public, but it's our workshop, right?
yeah. Well, the workshop is in fact a town board meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And that's one of the things in the handbook that makes very clear.
Then maybe
Now,
that's
the town board meeting, which is scheduled for the, was it the 12th?
The 12, yeah,
When is it? I have it the 12th.
correct.
Yes, and two people are missing, including our town clerk. And so I had asked whether we would be able to reschedule that for the 19th, but Warren has another town.
Wait a second. Oh,
You have Pine Plains, I think.
yeah.
This is much faster than emails, although the public has to be first.
Does it have to be a Thursday?
It doesn't have to be a Thursday, but that's what,
I could do Wednesday or Tuesday.
uh,
Tuesday's court.
I'll have to wear green.
Wednesday's court.
Wednesday, the,
No,
Okay,
Wednesday's,
11.
Wednesday's the 18th.
That's the
we're
wrong.
looking at March.
Yeah, but it's gonna be the same.
Oh, is,
Yeah, it's gonna be the same.
Oh, okay, yeah, so Wednesday, how about the following week, the 18th?
Yeah, I know.
No?
Can't do that.
Can we use the annex?
We can use the, yeah. I think
Not on a
if we-
Thursday.
Not on
No,
a
on a
Thursday.
Wednesday,
After 5 though, right?
yeah.
But Thursday,
17th, I could, Tuesday.
that, there would
You're
be
not back.
court. There wouldn't
I'm
be
coming
court
back
on the
that day, so I don't know what
17th.
time I'll be back.
No, okay.
17th, no.
What about, let's look at the following week then.
The
Or the
19th
16th?
people are.
Monday?
I have a meeting.
What about the,
20th.
20th,
What's it?
I could do after 4 o'clock.
That works.
Or, yeah, 'cause
Friday the 20th?
Friday the 20th, no, okay.
I don't, I mean, I'm
I think
around.
we should do
I'm
that
around.
survey
The
thing.
first
Maybe
day
we
of
should do a
spring.
survey
Ah,
date
I
thing
like that.
together.
Yeah. Can we do the 20th? Is that,
We could do the, it's Friday. I don't know whether that, making it on Friday evening is gonna work for the world, but I can do it.
there'll still be snow on the ground.
No,
I'm not
first day
going
of
anywhere.
spring, we should be,
Why don't we pencil in,
Mhm.
Friday, the 20th at 7 o'clock?
Okay.
And let's confirm that, by Monday,
What time did you say, Chris?
7 o'clock.
and that'll be a continuation of the public hearing.
Your wife's weekend.
Happy hour and,
Okay,
well,
with that, before we get into, I realize that I left out some comments at the beginning. Before we get to the EAF, we have the EAF, we have the Personnel Committee, and I have a couple of comments. One is, just want to mention that the Heartland Valley Rail Trail Association is going to be applying for a grant for invasives management on the rail trail, for a total of $22,250. And they have asked if they could have a letter of support from the town for their application. And I think it's to something called Prism. Anyway, it's really gonna be a demonstration project. They're not gonna, they're between Amenia and Northeast, they're 18 miles of rail trail. So they're not gonna remove the invasives from 18 miles of trail. But it would be a demonstration project both in Amenia and here in Northeast. And I would entertain a motion to approve sending a letter of support to the Rail Trail Association for their grant application.
So,
second, oh, go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We are continuing work on the revisions to the new town hall. And I'm gonna be discussing this with town hall staff over the next week. There is a schematic design of the new town hall, which is up there on the easel, that people can look at it. It will probably change to some degree over the next few weeks, but it is my hope that we can move forward on this and get it done. The engineers who are working on it from Land Associates have been very professional and very helpful in terms of trying to figure out ways that we can bring this in as affordable a way as possible. And we'll be reporting on this at all of our future meetings, I'm sure, for the rest of the year. We're also beginning the process of arranging for long-term financing of the debt for the highway garage. As everyone knows, we have 2 bond anticipation notes outstanding with an original value of around 4,800,000. We've made principal payments, so the amount that's still outstanding has been reduced by about 800,000. And the amount that we would then be going out for financing would be over 4 million, 4,050,000, somewhere in that area. We're going to be getting a lot of our homework. Lorna, our bookkeeper, has got a lot of work in front of her in terms of compiling a lot of information for them. We'll be going out for a bond rating. So there's a lot of work to be done on that, but that's it's about time that we got that done. Okay. Personnel Committee.
Yeah, so the Personnel Committee met to review the handbook, and we had come up with some suggestions for amendments that I emailed everybody. The first one regarding the health insurance is amending the language from the way it currently reads for employees hired after 2006. There's an 85% employer contribution, 15% employee. To read employees after whatever the month that we approve, if we approve 1st 2026. And the recommendation is an 80% employer contribution and a 20% employee match, which is commensurate with a lot of the surrounding municipalities. Another change we were recommending is for those folks who are in a domestic partnership to add language to include that information needs to be provided to the employer annually. Performance evaluations, it's currently noted as an annual requirement. It doesn't appear that they're happening all that often. This is important because it leaves both the town and the employees susceptible in the event that we need to terminate employment if someone leaves. One of the recommendations to maybe help folks complete this is changing the current evaluation form. There's a lot of subjective terms in there, so rather than having 4 or 5 choices, it's really just either a satisfactory or an unsatisfactory rating, and also pulling out the language that ties the evaluations to any merit raises, because I don't believe we're currently doing that. We're also recommending updates to the current longevity payment award system. Right now, once an employee reaches their longevity, then they don't receive it again until the next step. So we'd included some recommendations in that. So it would be once you get your first longevity, you would get that amount annually until you reach the next longevity step. And then the last thing that we had on here was changing the designation of election day from town hall being closed to making that a floating holiday. Which again is consistent with some of the other municipalities and institutions around here. So that's what we're recommending for folks to consider. And then we can
So
move
far.
forward.
That's great. I think I am really, really happy that that we have a personnel committee that is starting to look at some of these things. I know we've talked about performance evaluations for some time. I think it would be a good thing for us to do. I think we need to figure out how do we start with that. It's a challenge for people who've never done them before, both for the employee and for the department head. But I think that that's not a reason not to take it on. And so we can look and see what other municipalities have done. A number of us are going to be at the Association of Towns meetings next week. There may be information there. I very much suspect that there
There is
will be.
one course related to personnel and changing.
So I think that's great, and that's something that we can come back to and that we can, maybe, put some detail into, with the committee between board meetings and have something that we can share with the board. I also think that the election day, thing, it makes a lot of sense. The reason, we have election day off is because this used to be a polling place. So we had to close it, and now it's, even for relatively small elections, it's a whole day. And so I know that other towns do it as a floating holiday, other towns simply don't have it.
Right.
That's not true for the presidentials. Those are, I think,
Those are
national
actual
holidays.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's great.
Have you come across any online trainings for department heads on how to conduct
Evaluations.
evaluation?
We haven't explored them, which I'm sure there are, and I'm sure there are people who have experience that would be willing to. I mean,
This is our first big step.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a reason they're not being done now. And
Well, we've
Yeah.
talked about it a lot, but
Yeah.
now,
Well, you have for a long time too.
I mean, it
Yes.
could be training, it could be, again, it's the current evaluation form, in my opinion, it's subjective in some areas as far as, whether you're looking at someone's performance and I'm looking at someone's performance, gauging those very specific, positive or negative responses. So that's why we thought it's very simple. They're either performing satisfactorily or you're not. And if you're not, then, there should be a corrective plan of action in place to help.
Yeah. It would also be good if it could be two-way.
Right, a
The
self-evaluation,
can
yes.
Give feedback on
Right.
how they're being supervised.
Mhm.
There is an option in the current form where the employee has an opportunity to express, their opinion, so. Again, it shouldn't be looked as something punitive, it should really be,
Right.
a helpful tool for everybody.
But I think for us to give it serious thought, so we can make a decision and get it done early in the year,
Mm-hmm.
especially the thoughts on the benefits with the health insurance
Mhm.
for any new
Well, let's-
hires coming in.
And we can take pieces of this, bring pieces of what you presented back to us. For
Right.
instance, the health insurance thing, we can take that up at the next meeting.
Right,
Okay.
And so on, but I think that's great. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of goals.
not too bad. Mm-mm.
You're used to it, from being in those
That's right.
corporations.
That's right.
All right, I think we have gotten
Thanks,
through
Chris.
everything except the seeker full environmental assessment form. Warren, you sort of walked us through the whole form at the last meeting. What do we need to do? Do we need to go through each particular item?
Well, yeah, I can, first of all, the board members asked that they get a package
Yeah,
of the FEAF. Did
We
you
all
all
have
get that,
that.
and have an opportunity to review it? Did you have
And I
any
had a
questions?
small question.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I think it's page 2. So are we identifying the zone review committee as a local agency?
They're not an involved agency. Where was that? That was
Page 2.
put on
Page
first, part
2.
one, on the part one.
Under government approval?
Let me take a look.
yeah, it's not in existence anymore.
Yeah, I mean, involved agencies are other agencies that actually have a permitting
Right.
jurisdiction or voting jurisdiction over the project. So the town board is really in a rezoning is the only involved agency, but
So why
are-
is it, why is D filled in?
because he, or an abundance of caution, Will Rest to put that in, but the zoning just says other local agencies. Oh, he identifies them as an interested agency. They're not an involved agency, you know, there are two classes of agencies. So one is an involved agency, which is the agency that has permitting authority. The town board is the only involved agency in the zoning. And he listed the zoning review committee and the Dutchess County Planning as interested agencies. They're not, they don't,
Approvals.
he didn't, so they're not involved agencies. So they don't have any approvals, but they give recommendations.
So do we give for A, do you then use a different word for it as being what is the wording for
Interesting,
it?
but he did that. If you look
No, I
at
meant for A.
governmental agency, the first, it says underneath seeker interest agency.
No, I meant A, town board. I mean, if that's the only, what did you call it? Something agency?
Involved agency.
Do we, if we're classifying the others, do you have to say involved
Yeah, I don't,
agency?
I think
You don't?
it's pretty clear
inferred?
that they
Okay,
are involved.
okay.
That you are involved.
I think so.
I don't know if I would put,
It,
it says identify agency and approvals required.
you know, there are different ways of completing this. It's really not terribly important, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So he could have left it out, but he put it in just to identify interested agencies. There are actually other interested agencies, but he hasn't listed all of them in here. But those are the two main: zoning review committee and the planning, county planning. But for our purposes, it's not consequential how that's filled out. It's very hard to fill out, as I explained, the part one of the EAF for a rezoning. And you see that only a portion, you stop at a certain point and only a portion is filled out. It's really designed for information regarding a site-specific proposal,
Right.
which we're really not doing. And what you're voting on for a positive or a negative declaration is if it's a positive secret declaration, then what you're voting is that the town, before it adopts the zoning, must prepare a draft environmental impact statement, which is a very complex, involved process and very difficult for rezoning. For rezoning, if we were to do one, you'd have to do what we call a generic impact statement. And in my experience, they're not very fruitful. And when projects come in under the new zoning, each one of those projects will go through a rigorous environmental review, site-specific environmental review. And if you issue a negative declaration, all you're deciding is that there are no significant environmental impacts as a result of the rezoning, and that a draft environmental impact statement need not be prepared. But the last one I had was, I think, in the town of Rhinebeck in 2009, where we did a revision of the zoning law, and we did a generic impact statement. It was very difficult to do. I didn't think it was terribly beneficial to the process, but we did it because we were a little concerned about some issues that may result in lawsuits. So, but we've had no comments. Just for the record, we've had 3 public hearings now. We've had no comments from the public on any environmental impacts of the rezoning, which is good. I don't think we've heard anything from the town board members to date about it, but if you do have some concerns, we can discuss it. So, but if we're ready to move on, then what I'd like to do is just, if you can bear with me for a minute, I'm going to just, and I don't remember whether I did this at the last meeting or not, but there's a part 3 analysis that that the town did, our consultant did. And the part 3 analysis really is only required if you identify potentially large impacts of the project, which in this case is the zoning, which we haven't to date identified. If the part 2 analysis does not identify any potentially large impacts, you don't have to do a part 3 analysis. But again, in an abundance of caution, our consultant prepared a rather extensive part 3 analysis, which we'll adopt as part of our secret review. But I just wanted to read the section on page 10 regarding potential impacts. The proposed zoning amendments provide updated regulatory land use standards and requirements intended to achieve, and he has in parentheses, implement many of the zoning and land use recommendations of the 2019 comprehensive plan vision and goals, with a particular focus on non-residential zoning districts and emphasis on the boulevard districts. In the 2019 comprehensive plan was adopted by the town board following completion of a generic environmental impact statement. We did do that when we changed the comprehensive plan. According to the environmental review completed for the 2019 comprehensive plan, which is entitled "Adoption of the Plan Will Help the Town and Reduce or Mitigate Environmental Impacts. Implementation of its recommendations will allow for effective land use regulations, careful and comprehensive development project reviews, and transformative recognition of the importance of the town and the village's environmental resources. Town and village view the joint plan as to ensure resiliency, sustainability, and protection of Northeast and Milton's environment. As such, adoption of the proposed zoning amendments implementing many of the plan's goals and recommendations is consistent with the GEIS findings, that's the generic impact statement, findings previously established for the adoption of the 2019 comprehensive plan. Proposed type 1 action, which is zoning revision, involves expenditure of local funding for the preparation, adoption, and filing of a local law and an amended zoning law and zoning map. By the way, when we do a final resolution adopting the zoning law, we also going to have to do a resolution which has not yet been prepared, adopting the new zoning map. So I will be preparing that for the board. The amendments are the result of a comprehensive planning process that included the examination and consideration of current trends, needs, and relevant land use, environmental, and socio-economic conditions and factors affecting the town of Northeast. Adoption of the proposed action, this is in the opinion of the drafter of this document, does not result in any significant adverse impacts as follows. And then he lists the reasons why. I think we went over that at the last meeting. I don't think we have to do that again. So basically, I think there's sufficient rationale for you to make a determination that there are no large, potentially large impacts. And I'll just quickly go over those impacts again. Part 2 of the EAF. Again, these are recommendations from our planner. The first is impact on land. And the question was, will the proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site. Again, there is no proposed site. So that was answered no. And there are several explanations of what may constitute a large impact, none of which apply to this rezoning. We will apply to site-specific actions though. And then impact, second one is the impact on geological resources. And the question was, the proposed action may result in the modification or destruction or inhibit access to any unique, unusual landforms on the site, such as cliffs, dunes, minerals, fossils, caves. And again, that was answered no in the negative. So you didn't have to even go to whether it's a large or small impact or a moderate or large impact, because the answer to that was no. Third was impacts on surface waters. Most action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies, for example, streams, rivers, ponds, or lakes. Again, the answer for the rezoning is no, and there might be site-specific applications which may involve an analysis of those potential impacts later on. The next is number 4, impact on groundwater. The proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater, or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. Again, the zoning law doesn't do that, so the answer that was suggested is no, and it doesn't meet any of the examples that were given underneath that section. The next is number 5, impact on flooding. The proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. Again, the zoning law will not have that impact, but later on, individual site development could possibly have that impact. And that will be dealt with by the planning board during its own review process. The next is impact on air. The proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source. The answer to that is no. We don't have to go over that. Number 7, impact on plants and animals. The proposed action may result in a loss of flora or fauna. And the answer to that was no, but again, in individual projects, there could be some impact which would be later analyzed in accordance with the proposal before the planning board. The next is impact number 8 on agricultural resources. Action may impact agricultural resources. The answer to that is no. Again, maybe with a site-specific application, that may be an issue to be dealt with.
Warren, can I just jump in for a second? When we get to the next phase of zoning, dealing with residential, agricultural,
Yeah,
zone, we will do this again.
yeah, and it
So,
could be that we'll reach a
There
different
may be,
conclusion.
maybe in that case, some impacts. That
Yeah, we may decide in conjunction with phase 2 that we do want to do a generic impact
okay.
statement. But again, a lot of that has already been done in conjunction with the comprehensive plan, so it might not be a very difficult process. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. Again, the zoning law doesn't have any significant moderate to large impacts. But again, individual projects may later on, or in the second phase or analysis. 10, impacted historic and archaeological resources. The answer to that was no, as far as the zoning is concerned. Again, there may be site-specific issues later on. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or reduction in open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. The answer to that is no. Number 12, impact on critical environmental areas. Proposed action may be located within or adjacent to a critical environmental area. Yeah, the answer to that is no. I'm not sure that we have any critical environmental areas in the town at all, but maybe we do. The number 13 is impact on transportation. Proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems. Again, the law itself will not have any impact on existing transportation systems, but individual projects later on could conceivably have such an impact, and that will be analyzed later. Impact on energy, number 14. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. We answered that no. Again, that's site specific, would certainly call that into play, not in the zoning law itself. 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting. Again, this zoning law is not going to do that, but the individual projects may, or part two, may be a different story. We're dealing with residential property. 15, impact on human health. The proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. I don't think our zoning laws have that impact, so that was answered no. So we didn't have to fill out whether it was a small or moderate or large impact. 17, consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plan. The answer to that is no. It obviously is, because it was adopted in accordance with our comprehensive plan revision. 18, consistency with community character. Again, the proposed action is inconsistent with the existing community character. The answer to that is no. As far as the rezoning is concerned, but individual projects could potentially have that type of impact. And if you all agree, I would just like to, if you have any questions about that, have a vote to determine to accept the part 2 analysis that I've just gone over with you.
Can we do that at this point? We don't have to wait till.
No, we can do it now, if you like.
So any of the comments and recommendations for consideration that we've heard that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, now it could be that if we make any changes to the zoning code at our special meeting, I mean, I think maybe it's just best to hold off adopting the negative. If we do the negative declaration, we'll do it at the next town board meeting later in March, right? And that will precede the resolution adopting the new zoning code and the new map, because you have to finish your seeker before you vote on that. So you could adopt, if you wanted, a negative declaration tonight, but maybe we should wait to see what changes we
And it
make.
makes sense to wait.
Yeah.
We've-
And it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
So we can do
But
that.
I think with the benefit of last meeting that we had going through this and this meeting going through this, we can feel that when we do come to it, that we've actually given it good consideration.
Yeah, the process has been pretty good and pretty smooth. And I must say the public comments were fine, but not a whole lot of negative comments, and certainly no negative comments about potential environmental impacts. So that's always good.
I mean,
So,
yeah, I mean, my experience at the Association of Towns meetings where this came up with land use for planning on some places was really involved in certain very sensitive use of land. And we do have in 180-13, the structure land prohibited uses like junkyards, quarry pits, sand pits, storage of alcohol, gasoline, blah, 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 those kind of things. And those categories seem to really what triggered these kind of concerns in those zonings
Oh,
for
yeah.
those towns.
yeah,
And, yeah,
I mean, there are certain red flag types of development, gravel mining, being one. We really don't have that in this county, so. I guess our gravel isn't very good, so nobody's trying to open a
well,
gravel.
maybe it
mine.
is, but
But we don't know.
Well,
But that's a very controversial issue in
Yeah.
most jurisdictions. So, then I guess what we should do, unless you have any questions, we'll just put this off to our final meeting, and I'll have everything ready for you to finish the issue an egg deck, which is very simple. It's already been done here. It's a matter of signing the last page on this, or supervisor will do that. And we have to send it on to the environmental notice bulletin, and we'll do that afterwards. And hopefully we can adopt this at the second meeting in March and move on to
That's,
the next project.
that's my hope. That's my hope. All right, we have, I still have the supervisor's report, which I will come to, but we have a public comment period, another public comment period, and so opening it up for public comment.
Hi,
Yes.
Scott Goldberg. I just wanted to express my appreciation for all who were involved in the zoning revisions. I think it's very admirable and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Supervisor's report, budget adjustment number 11 for 2025. This is an expense increase of $61, less an expense decrease of $61 for a net of $0. I ask for a motion to approve the budget adjustment number 11 of 2025.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. I have a special abstract dated January 27th, 2026, totaling $15,913.04, broken down as follows. A fund, $3,804.78. Highway fund DB, $11,108.26. Can I ask for a motion to accept the special abstract?
So moved.
Second,
Is that Meg?
yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
This way, 212. I have an abstract dated December 30th, 2025, totaling $8,309.07, broken down as follows. A fund, $6,329.43. DV fund, $1,819.64. TNA two escrow, $160. For a motion to approve the abstract.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. In there. And I have an abstract dated February 12th, 2026. Totaling $174,509.97, broken down as follows. A fund, $81,808.63. B fund, $2,823.45. DB fund, $89,128.12. TNA two escrow, $460. Payroll TNA, $289.77. Can I ask for a motion to approve that abstract?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
I,
Six. There it goes. That's the last one of those. Voucher committee for March will be Chris Mayville. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Voucher committees. And you have received copies of minutes from meetings of January 2nd, 2026, January 8th, 2026, January 19th, 2026, and February 3rd, 2026. If there are any changes, please let me know. Otherwise, I would accept a motion to approve those 4 sets of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We don't need meeting with council. So with that, unless there's anything else that you have,
So we're confirmed for a workshop meeting
yes.
March 3rd.
March 3rd.
At 5 p.m.
And that's when we'll review all of the comments, recommendations.
Yep.
And we're not doing anything with this tonight,
No,
just gonna look it
Yep.
over.
Yep. All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I may be able to get to you tomorrow or before I leave.